Hi. So today I quit my job as a mental health nurse. I've been a nurse for about, I don't know, since 2016. Um, as rewarding as it is, it's not something I ever really wanted to do or felt passionate about ever since I started going to school for it in 2009. Um, I always just felt like I shouldn't be doing this. Why do I keep going to class? Mm, and this is not the first time I quit nursing. I did so summer of 2018, and I switched lifestyles. I left Chicago, went back to Dallas, um, went to LA, started devoting my life to music and spirituality, I guess. Not I guess. Yeah. And my whole life changed. Um, I mean, one could say like hit rock bottom. I became homeless in Los Angeles. I had no music. I had no songs. I just like played music on the beach with a friend at first, then by myself. Um, but spiritually or and like mentally, emotionally, I was reborn, I guess. I mean, what looked like rock bottom on paper felt in my soul like the best thing I'd ever done. um, I hadn't felt that happy in since probably the 10 years before I started nursing school. Um, and that really opened my eyes to, I don't know, I guess what happiness is, or like where it comes from, how you can have it, in what situations you can have it. I was homeless in Los Angeles, and I was basically just living off Venice Beach, um, just meditating all the time. Mm, playing music for tips, exploring LA. Um, yeah, I felt free for the first time in a long time, maybe ever. Um, I definitely felt happiness for the first time in probably 10 years. And when that happened, I thought, okay, well, if I can be happy in this situation, then I can be happy like going back into society and like the workforce and getting a job again. Um, so I did that. I came back. I left LA. Um, and with help from family, from my dad, shout out dad, um, I went back to Chicago. I became a nurse again at my old uh, job at a clinic, opiate addiction clinic, and then maybe a couple months later, I switched into mental health nursing because that was something I was always interested in. But what I found was where I thought that I could be happy again, just like in any situation, because I was like, oh, if I can be happy here, then I can be happy anywhere. Um, what I found was that didn't turn out to be the case. Um, every time I would go into work, I would still like hate myself. I mean, there were moments where it was okay, but overall, I just could feel it dragging me down, bringing up thoughts and emotions and actions that I didn't like seeing in myself. I mean, I was fine with it, but I mean, I could do it, but it didn't feel good. And I was like, well, I tried to be happy doing things that didn't make me happy. And so I guess what the lesson taught me is that where I thought theoretically that one could choose their state of being in any situation, like, say, happiness, um, which I think there is some validity to. Um, I think that, at least for me, there are multiple factors at play where when it involves one state of being. And I think a part of that is not just like mental fortitude or emotional fortitude, but also like how one is expressing themselves and how one is living through their words and their actions. Um, Maybe I'm just telling myself that to give me a reason and justify why I just left my fucking job. but um, but something, I don't know, feels right about that, at least for me. Maybe not everyone. Like, maybe there are people that can just be happy. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there are people. Maybe there is some sort of universe or like reality in which I could have been happy doing that. Um, I was thinking maybe if I was doing enough things on my off days that did make me happy, then maybe it would like drag over into my work days. But I also felt like my work days were draining me of my energy on the weekdays, which I don't know is a good excuse or maybe it isn't. I don't know. But that's what I felt like was happening. And I just didn't like it. And I do a lot of meditation. And for months now, every time I would I mean, I'm basically meditating at all times. Um, just like being aware of my breath and being aware of how I feel. Um, but I noticed that every time I thought about my job and every time I thought about the idea of quitting, it always gave me a sense of peace. Like I could feel myself relax. And I do believe that one's life is created by whatever state of being you're in right now. And I do believe that in the idea of using your, like when decision making, for example, using your thoughts and seeing how they make you feel in that moment, and going with that, like going with your feeling, going with your intuition, because I think that's all that is, your intuition, what gives you a sense of peace and what doesn't, or happiness or excitement or joy. And of course, and like I said, for months now, I said I've been feeling like that idea. Every time I would think about the idea of quitting nursing again for the second time, it always gave me a sense of peace. And of course, I had stayed in for the past few months because, logically, I have to like have a job and do all that. So I stayed, and every time I would go back into work, I would just feel like crappy about myself. And I noticed that things were also happening like at work. Like the work environment was just getting worse and worse. I guess I won't name any names, but like situations at work, like being in mental health, people are, some are dangerous, um, sometimes violent, uh, sometimes not taking care of themselves or harming themselves or others, or trying to escape or whatever. And I noticed that things were just like getting more out of hand. And it made me think about all my situations in healthcare uh, since school for the last 10 years. And I noticed that all my situations, like workplaces, they were just always, they just always ended up being like really crappy, or like the worst. I mean, kind of the best and the worst for me. Um, like my first CNA job. It was cool because it was at a hospital, and I was like a student nurse apprentice, it was called, and which gave me what's it called? Like I was a PR. I had a PRN schedule as needed. Basically, I could put in my availability for the following schedule calendar month, and they would give me what I wanted based on what I told them. So, which was cool. I only needed to work like a minimum of one shift for like 1 or 2 months or something, which sometimes I took advantage of, like when I went to, like when I went on vacation. I think I went to San Francisco or somewhere. Oh, I especially took advantage of this in my following job, my first nursing job at the opiate addiction clinic, at the methadone clinic, where I had a similar schedule, and like I took 6 weeks to Japan. I took 6.5 weeks to Southeast Asia, Thailand, Indonesia. So, but at the same time, like the jobs themselves were like kind of some of the hardest like jobs I could have gotten. Like the floor I ended up working on as a CNA was a geriatric floor, so like older people, people less, like basically like the hospital equivalent of working at a nursing home. And so it was like pretty difficult It wasn't like the easiest hospital floor that I could have worked on, but it was the one that I ended up with. I mean, it was good, like training, like it was difficult. Anyway, and then the next job, my opiate addiction job, methadone clinic, like it was cool that I had the PRN schedule, and it was cool that the job was really chill. But like, there was no growth, there was no raises. I worked there for like, I don't know, 4 years, 3 or 4 years. No raises, no overtime pay, like no growth opportunity. So, and then at my current job, the mental health home nursing job, pay is better, but like the situation, like the work environment sucked. Everything was unorganized. Maybe that's common in mental health homes or just home settings, or resident home settings. But like things were getting worse, and things were like patients acting out, and like things like that. And maybe that was partly due to Corona because they were like cooped in there. But still, like the whole situation, including Corona, maybe. It just felt like I just realized recently that maybe like all of the healthcare settings that I've worked in have kind of been like like directing me to like give me time to do what I want, because including my mental health nurse job, my most recent one that I just quit today. It was two 16-hour shifts, Saturday and Sunday, but paid for 40 hours. So work 32 hours every weekend, but get paid for 40 hours, and then off on the weekdays, which is really cool. Because it gave me time to, do music or whatever else I want to do, meditate. So it seems like all of my jobs in healthcare have always been like, the work itself has been crappy, like, but like it's always given me the opportunity to like do what I want, outside of it. And I feel like maybe it's been like that, like maybe life has been giving me that to get me out of that faster. And well, now I'm finally out again. And I have some money saved, so I'm gonna do my best to do whatever with that. I would like to just do creative things, have fun, make music, I guess make videos, and talk about life and what I think and things that I experience and things that I think can help other people and bring value. Things that are real, things that are authentic, and things that I think are going to help the world and guide it in a direction that I think would be healthy and beneficial to the world. And that's what I want to do with my life. I want to enjoy myself, all moments of my life, do things that I'm passionate about and find meaningful and that I care about, and that are fun, and that provide that same feeling to other people. And I feel like I've had like a mental block, just like, I don't know, fear, and it's the same thing that kept me in healthcare and kept me tied to money. It almost feels like now that I've quit, I can think more clearly. Um, and then, I don't know, my critic voice or a critic voice in my head says, like, well, did you have to do that? Like, do you have to go that far? Like, do you have to, like, be crazy and quit your fucking job and whatever? Um, I don't know, you don't have to, I guess. But, and maybe I didn't have to, but I'm going by my intuition now and my feelings, and look, there's my scrubs, uh, nursing scrubs, but I do believe, like I said earlier, I believe that there's something beyond, like an intelligence beyond the one that's in our minds and the one that we're exposed to in society, and like logic and like current standards for logic and, I don't know, reality, I guess. I think there's another layer of reality and intelligence that is beyond just this physical stuff. You can call it the universe or God or life or whatever, the collective consciousness or flow, or I don't know, whatever. But I do believe in that. Anytime I followed my intuition or that feeling of peace in the moment, like it's paid off. And I don't think it's just a fluke. I think that's something that maybe one day we can learn how to measure and like use, and something that will be more commonly known about. Um, I think we're getting there. Um, and I think we all kind of know that there's something going on. Like, I mean, the reason why there's sayings like trust your gut and trust your feeling and stuff like that, and like trust your heart and all that stuff. I mean, there's like, it works for people. There's a lot of sayings that and cliches that the reason why they exist in our culture the way they do is because like there's something to it. I think the reason why there's something to it is because I don't think all sayings, that rule applies to, but because some are just like, I think, bullshit. But these ones, the ones I'm talking about, like, I think the reason why they work and why they're around is because they speak to the thing that is beyond, that goes beyond this physical reality. Um, and uh, there's just other stuff going on here. Um, and I think when we can tap into that and live from that, that it'll show us the direction, and the direction that will like give us what we want in life, whether it's meaning or fulfillment or happiness or whatever. Um, Love for ourselves, most importantly. Um, First and foremost, at least. Uh, and that is, I don't know, what I want to do in my life and what I want to share with people. Um, and what I think this whole planet could benefit from. Because shit's cray, and getting crayer. And yeah, I think we've been going in the wrong direction in a lot of ways for a while, and I think we need to um, 180 with some things, or steer differently. Um, so anyway, what am I talking about? I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I have one more shift tomorrow. I guess two more because it's a double. 2 8s, a 16. And then I'm gonna just do stuff. I guess make videos, do things that I want to do. Music, backpack, hike, whatever. I think life and my focuses, my foci, have been leading me to this. It was just a matter of time, and here I am. Check the musubi on my beanie. I got that in somewhere in Japan. I don't remember if it was Okinawa or Kyoto. Some little shopping center. Joke shop. Like a... What's that shop that we have here in America? I don't remember. With the raunchy stuff and the gifts. I don't remember. It almost came to mind. Whatever. Anyway. What's something that I can say that can benefit you, whoever is watching this? Because value, right? Like, well, I guess from what I've learned in life so far, believe in yourself. You can do whatever you want in life, no matter if anyone's telling you otherwise. And like, yeah, everyone says that, but it's people still stop themselves from doing stuff, right? What they want out of fear. But like the thing I was talking about earlier, like what we're finding out is that if you can learn to control your state of being, or become aware of it at least, and find some control or mastery of it, awareness of what makes you afraid and awareness of what makes you fulfilled, and you just are in a constant state of surrender and gratitude for the present moment and whatever's happening, and just believe in yourself and in life, and just keep following what makes you feel good. you will get to, first, you will feel good right in that moment if you focus on feeling good and if you like express yourself and say and do things in a way that feels good. Um, the more you feel good, the more you will continue to feel good. Um, that's what this all this law of attraction stuff is saying, and all this um, like positive thinking and Eckhart Tolle, um, all that stuff. The more you feel good, the more you will feel good. The more you feel bad, the more you will feel bad. Um, like you will give yourself that in life. Your external reality will give you that. Uh, and so, just like, I guess you just kind of have to be tired, being sick and tired of being sick and tired. Some people have to do that, and other people just have to believe that they don't have to do things that make them feel bad, and just keep doing what makes you feel good. And like, if you stick to that, um, like energy attracts like energy. Not only in human relationships or whatever, but in opportunities, also in ideas, anything, everything. Like the things that you like will attract more things that you like, internal and external. Um, and things that you don't like will continue to attract things that you don't like, internal and external. Ideas, thoughts, emotions, events, conversations. It's amazing, like the experiences I've brought to myself in my life because of my choices and because of the way I've felt and thought about things. Um, just the situations I've been in, the things that I've felt, and the thoughts that I've had, and the people that I've met. Like, there's just been some really dark times. um, Not to condemn any of that, because it's always taught me and continue to teach me how to be myself in a way that feels good to me. And I suppose that's the journey we're all on, right? Um, and every time that I've like followed what feels good, it has resulted in good things and various types of things. And it's just it's like coincidence. It's almost like, and it's like synchronicities. It's like uh, things that just like, oh, this is a thought I had yesterday. The experience of things that like logically make no sense, but beyond that, like makes perfect sense. Like that this happened, or that like that it happened, um, that it was experienced, whatever was experienced, and it's like, wow, how could that have happened? But here I am, and it makes perfect sense. It's perfect that this happened this way. Um, I guess that's what synchronicity is, right? Um, and it's fun. It's fun to have all that. It's fun to be living like that. That's what life was when I was homeless in LA and when I was pursuing music. Like shit just happened like that all the time, and it was amazing. It was like magic. It was like my life became magic, like the movies. It became like a movie. That was in the beginning, actually. Even and then after that, it went beyond that. It became like it just became, I don't know, more real. Prior to that, my life felt fake. I felt fake. Like for the last 10 years, I felt fake. And I felt like life was fake, and just, it's been something I've been struggling with for a long time. It's like, why does everything feel not real? How come I don't feel real, even with my friends, even with, I don't know, maybe my family sometimes, I don't know. But just like, things just didn't feel real. I guess that's the dissociative disorder, whatever. Um, Man, I could talk about mental illness. But I guess that's what it was. And I mean, I guess that's just a product of not being true to yourself. I also read that dissociative disorder is the result of perceived trauma. Like people get into that state of being or state of mind due to perceived trauma. And I mean, I suppose one is not being authentic because of whether conscious or subconscious perceived trauma. Um, that makes sense. I guess that's what I was doing for 10 years. Anyway, then when I started living more authentically, at first it was like, oh, life feels like this feels like a movie. Like this feels. I started feeling real and authentic, and then I started feeling like a movie, and then things went beyond that. Actually, it started feeling like even more real than, or more magical than like a movie, which was really cool. But then ever since I've come back to society, it's like it started it at first it was fading away, and then it just faded away. But I didn't forget about it. I mean, I forgot some parts, which come to mind every so often. I think the more that I am authentic, the more things come back to mind, which sucks, honestly. Like, it's amazing how in life we can experience something that makes us feel alive, authentically, like for real alive. And how often, like, some people rarely get that. I'm sure some people feel that maybe very commonly, which is awesome. But some people maybe get that maybe once in their lives or something. Um, or maybe never. Or maybe they don't remember it. But that's my point. Um, you can have that and then forget it. And I guess I think humanity could stand to have more of that feeling alive. And what gives us that? I think being authentic. And I think part of being authentic is being loving. Uh, Firstly, with yourself, and then with everything, which follows. It just follows automatically, honestly, which is a relief. Um, like, you just have to love yourself and love the different aspects of yourself, and then it just follows um, outwards to your external reality, other people, other things. Um, and Wow, I could just keep talking. Maybe I should separate these topics into different videos. That's what everyone else does. Anyway. But, like, what about Alan Watts? He just talks. I could be like Alan Watts. Anyway. Will I talk about different topics in different videos? Or should I just talk for long periods of time about different things? That one sounds cool. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do both. Anyway. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to bring value to you. What's the thing that I think humanity needs to hear the most right now? That everything's gonna be okay. No matter what happens, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's okay. So, take that in your hearts. Always remember that. Keep faith in that. And not just because, but also, like, not just because it sounds nice, but I think doing that, like, making that mental decision also helps create more of that. So try and, like, find your peace in all situations, and it'll help you retain more of that. And I don't know, look around at what's happening and keep an open mind, open heart. Do some research. I think don't believe in everything mainstream media is saying, because I do think they do have an agenda, and I do think they are guided on certain topics by other people with agendas. Not that, and not to condemn that either. Firstly, I think there's just more stuff going on than what we're told all the time. I could be wrong. But I could be right. I think I'm right. I think overall the point is not to condemn anything or demonize anyone, but just maintain awareness and be what you want to be. And anyone not doing anything you don't like or that you don't agree with, they don't need to be punished or whatever, or condemned, or, like, made to feel bad, or whatever. Like, we all just need to, like, accept each other and understand each other, including the ones that we don't like what they're doing. And try and figure out how we can all, like, get along and heal the things, or, like, move past and, like, heal from the things that are causing the activities that we don't like that are happening, whether it's like manipulation of media and mankind to like um, murder based on prejudice. I mean, it's all prejudice anytime any condemning. It's all prejudice, I guess, right? I mean, there's always more to understand. And there's always a good reason why someone isn't being accepting and loving. Whether it's like trauma they experienced in life or like stuff that was passed down through genetics or into their personality, into their DNA. What's that called? Past life trauma, not trauma, or ancient trauma. I forgot that term. But I mean, it doesn't matter where it's from, but what matters is that it's there and that it can be understood and healed. And not like condemned and dismissed. So, and same in you, like, same inside of every person. There's stuff in you that you may not like, that you want to change, but I think it's best to come at it first from a place of like acceptance and love, being okay with yourself. Because there's nothing. One thing that I like hearing recently is that there's nothing wrong with you ever. No matter how many things you're doing that you don't like, none of that's wrong. It's just a matter of that's just where you're at right now, and whatever you want to change, you can continue to change. But I think what we end up doing is naturally is wanting to be loving of ourselves and to others, whether we know it or not, and sometimes the action that we're taking is in the opposite direction of that, um, only because we don't understand yet, like what we're where we're going in the long term. But I do believe where we're going in the long term is just like more accepting and loving of ourselves and therefore our surroundings and other people. Um, so, yeah. Should I just stop this thing now? It's really long. Okay, bye.